This is, you know, I've been receiving a lot of information from Spirit, a lot of guidance, a lot of downloads concerning the things that are hidden. That it takes some time, I'm knowing now it takes time. It takes for you to do the work. And I've been doing the work, and so every so often, you receive access to deeper knowledge. But this morning, the mother was speaking to me. I had a series of dreams, and when I woke right up out of it, she began to speak and give me understanding of what I had dreamt. And over the last 2 years, I've been going through an experience spiritually, if you want to say warring or in battle, spiritual battle, with an individual or individuals who took it upon themselves to try to attempt to destiny swap. But they even went a little further than that, because they actually tried to unalive me in the process so that I would be stuck in the spirit realm, and they would be able to channel my energy for their own good as they remained in the earth, and they could basically live out their years doing what I was destined to do. It's very high level witchcraft. And I have been battling with this and battling this individual or individuals who took it upon themselves to do that. And this came and entered my life by way of a relationship, a connection. And though I had the purest intentions, I was also being self-initiated. And so in the wisdom of my spirit team, in the wisdom of the spirit, in the wisdom of the great mother, they brought this connection into my life as a means to self-initiate me into my own power. And to remind me of my source, and to remind me of who I was in other lifetimes, and to remind me of who I'm going to be in future lifetimes, and to do a lot of things. This is a whole self-initiation process, and it came by way of a connection. And I've been going through it for almost 2 years now. The connection, as far as me having conversation or being in relationship with with one of the individuals. I believe it's more than one, but the one that I was in relationship with, that person and I haven't spoken in well over a year. But the energy was still being sent. Sometimes you garnish spiritual haters and you don't even really know why. Sometimes people, in their own need to win, in their own spiritual stubbornness, they just will not give up even after they have already lost. They'll keep trying. And so for the last year, and more than a year and a half, but shorter than 2 years, this individual or individuals have continued to try to hold me back energetically. I've been given knowledge that I have been put inside of freezer bags, and this is lower level magic, but what they initially tried was some high level shit, and they failed at that. So because they failed at that, I guess they had to resort to, basically, if we can't unalive her, let's just try to hold her back. So I've been inside of jars. I've been inside of freezer bags. At least what they thought is that they had put me in a freezer bag and put me in jars and, did the graveyard dirt and all of that. And, but none of it, of course, works. All of it was felt, but none of it works because I'm in a process of self-initiating. So the second you do that, the ancestors are going to come to me and show me how to get out of it, basically, right? Because that's the whole point of self-initiating, is giving you the tools, giving you the knowledge, giving you the wisdom of spirituality on a much deeper level. It's not just about me doing return to senders and egg cleanses and so on and so forth. Yes, I did that. I do those protection works and cleansings and things like that. But this ultimately came down to me having to learn how to alchemize the energy. It also came down to me knowing my energy and what is my energy and what is not my energy. Right? So it's been more than a year and a half, and I've been processing, and at the same time stepping into my purpose and stepping into my calling. And it's this particular new level of initiation has opened up to me some really deep truths. And I've been going through this level of initiation for about 3 weeks now. And it started with the mother speaking to me about purple. And I kept hearing purple. And I didn't know what she was talking about. Most of the times I don't. Most of the times, this is new to me. And, we gain different truths in different lifetimes. And this could, for some things are things we once knew and we have forgotten, and some things are new to us because we're just now entering that level of spiritual gnosis. We're just getting there in this particular lifetime, so it's completely new. But it's really not that new, because it's new to you now, because these are the knowledge, these are the principles, these are the foundational understandings, these are the things that you once taught other people, and then they turned around and took it from you and hid it from you. And over the course of lifetimes, it has been hidden. Over the course of centuries and millenniums, it has been hidden from you, but you once used to know these things. You're being reminded. So it's new to you, but it's not really that new, but it is new because you had completely had your consciousness wiped clean of these spiritual foundational truths. So at this level of the initiation, she started talking to me about purple. And so I was seeing the color purple everywhere. And when I would see it, she would say purple. And I was like, what is this purple? What is this purple? And I don't want to go too deep into what that is, because I'm still trying to understand it. But what I do understand about myself is that I've been given access. I have been given consciousness, which is access. Consciousness is access. Consciousness is a door that opens or closes, right? I have been allowed to walk through a door of consciousness to understand the genetic royalty that I am. I have earned and learned about the blood, the genetic makeup of the blood that courses through my veins. And this blood that courses through my veins is the reason why I have access. It's called a birthright. It's called a bloodline inheritance. Okay? So as you grow spiritually, if you are growing spiritually, if you are actually evolving properly, these are the mysteries that we in previous lifetimes were the teachers of, And then the students decided to hide what we taught them from us, because we revealed to them the power of our blood, the power of our genetics. We revealed to them the makeup of the physical world and the reasons for it. The physical world exists to birth deities. The physical world is the place where deities are born. Okay? So you have an adversarial race of people who don't have access to the genetic coding. So they have two choices. They can either usurp the knowledge and suppress those who are by birthright designed to move into deification, and by doing that they feel they might preserve their own existence, because the faster we earn our deification, the less time they have to learn how to do it. But they won't be able to do it because they don't have the genetic makeup. So everything that has transpired between the races, that is played out in this physical emanation between the races, and more importantly the genders, is because there is one race or one gender, could be either one or could be both, but there is one race or one gender who does not possess the genetic makeup for deification. Who does not possess the genetic makeup for deification. And they're trying to engraft themselves. They're trying to graft themselves into the bloodline. Over the centuries, over the millenniums, they have successfully done so. But not all of them. There's still those that remain. And the more they can prolong the original bloodline and keep that bloodline from reaching deification, the more opportunity they have to graft themselves into the bloodline. See, it's your blood they want. Literally. It's your blood they want. Okay? So, as I'm self-initiating, this connection that I had and have been processing and alchemizing through for a year, in about 8 months, is the experience that was afforded me for me to understand the source of power that I am. Because you can't get to deification until you understand this. And this is not some pseudo, I'm an Anunnaki, I'm, this and da 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 da. I don't get into all those technical terms because the myths are very real stories about real things, but the knowledge behind those stories is not privy to everyone. So I don't even really discuss certain things in certain ways, because it's really neither here nor there. What we used to be, or what we used to be called, or what I do my studies on history and mythology and all of that good stuff. But I'm a spiritualist. I'm a spiritual being, so it's a light thing for me. So I don't get into like Anunnakis and Pleiadians, and it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is I'm here, and I'm here to earn my rank as deity. Because that is what the physical realm is for. This is the place where deities are born. And I woke up this morning and I heard the Spirit say, I heard the Mother say to me, your strength was too strong for their strategy. And it hit me because, when you're in connections with people on a humanistic level, you don't know why things play out sometimes. And sometimes your emotions and your lack of being given closure, and you don't have the answers as to why this person did this or did that, and why would they do this to me. They knew I loved them, and maybe they didn't believe me. Maybe they did believe me. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they, just a trickster spirit. Maybe they did. You try to figure out what happened and why it happened and woo woo woo. And for a short time, particularly if that connection is connected to some form of a deeper spiritual meaning, for a short time that information will not be disclosed to you. You will be, and that's what kind of is a little bit tormenting, particularly if you're someone like me who likes to investigate shit. You know what I'm saying? I like to get to the bottom and the root of it, and when I can, it can kind of keep me mentally a little bit chained up for a while. But it's not being disclosed to you, Yolanda, because the longer we can, it's like it's being disclosed to you, but it's being broken down to you slowly. Because in the process of us disclosing it, you're also going to learn deeper truths about yourself. So we don't want to just, it's like we take time and we use time to your advantage. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. You don't like it, but we use time to your advantage. We don't hit you with it all at one time. We don't hit you with it all in one sitting, because then we would not have all of the other experiences that are going to come over the course of months to give you deeper understanding. And furthermore, your level of consciousness, you being able to walk through the door of said consciousness, is where you come in. You have to do the work. So you can speed this up or slow it down. It took as much time as it took. A year and 8 months or so. But this morning, I heard her, after a series of dreams concerning this particular connection. I heard, finally understood exactly what transpired and why. The connection was a product of self-initiation. The connection showed up because you were being self-initiated. It was the beginning. It was the new beginning that was being afforded you, and it showed up through a connection. And we can call this, soulmates, twin flames, whatever, dark twin flames, karmic twin flames, karmic soul. I didn't get into all of that no more neither. It doesn't matter. What matters is, what did you get out of it? That's what matters. That's what matters. We put all these titles and stuff on stuff and still don't get the damn lesson. What does it matter what it is and what you won't call it and all these new age terms and all this stuff? That don't matter. What matters is, what did you get out of it? So this morning she said to me, after I had a dream and I woke up, and immediately she began to speak. As soon as I came to, she began to speak and help me understand the dream. And she said, What you don't understand, and now you will, is that your strength was too strong for their strategy. And so the connection played out the way it did because they saw early on that what they targeted you for was not going to work. So then they had to switch up the strategy, and this is where the spell work comes in at. This is where the trying to unalive and destiny swap you come in at. But they really don't really understand how, they probably do now, but they didn't understand then that they were getting ready to make a grave mistake. And maybe they don't see it that way, and that's not my business. But I'm listening to the mother tell me what it was. So I don't know what their consciousness is able to understand. I don't really care. As it relates to my reality, they made a grave mistake. And they could have walked away from the situation when they saw that what they wanted to do was not going to work. They could have walked away and left it as it was. But the ego wouldn't let them. And this goes back to what I was saying about sometimes people are just too stubborn to know when they have been defeated, or when they should surrender, or when they should just give up. Can't win them all. Your strength is too strong for their strategy. Somebody else listening to me is trying to figure out what the hell, how the hell, why the hell. Did they do that? Did they do this? Why do they treat me like this? Why do they do this? People come into your life and you don't know their intentions, their wants and desires, and you get caught up in a connection, you get caught up in chemistry, you get caught up in lust, you get caught up in attraction. All of those things are natural. That is no judgment. It just happens, right? And so we don't sometimes slow down and really look at what a person's intention is. And sometimes spirit will reveal to you what their intentions is, but the chemistry, the lust, the desire is so strong that you just think that it's like, I was aware even when I was in the connection, but I was given a certain love for this person so that the initiation could be initiated. So if I didn't actually fall in love with this person, if I didn't actually grow to love this person, none of this shit would have worked. I would have exited stage left so fast that none of that other stuff would have even taken place. So I was being initiated, and I was following the orders of spirit. Even at that time, I was being told what to do, how to move, what to do, what to say. And I did it. And when spirit said, okay, now let go and move on, I did that too, quite easily, even though I was still very much in love with this person. But when it's time to let go, it's time to let go. When it's time to, when the reality has to shift and change, you have to know how to shift and change with it. You have to know how to be spirit led. You have to know how not to be full of your ego and not to. That's what shadow work is for. See, before I met them, I was just coming out of a shadow work period. So I was already slaying the ego. So when I met them and things started to play out and I'm hearing my ancestors guide me, my job was to keep the ego at bay. And I did my job. And because I did my job, I have earned and re-earned and reclaimed the right to what belongs to me. Going back to the bloodline. So you got to do the work. And this particular connection was an ego slaying situation, right? That part of you, that the satanic part of you that likes to fight you, you got to face him, her, it. right? So what I did know from the beginning, and what I've known for many, 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 many years, even during my years of Christianity, is that I am more spiritual than I am physical. I am more spiritual minded and conscious than I am physical minded and consciousness. So I knew that going in, to trust and follow your spirit. When they realized that their initial intentions was not going to prosper on me, maybe as it has prospered with others, they had to switch up the strategy. And then they resorted to spell work. And when you are really on your initiation path, spirit will take someone else's mistake and use it for your benefit. It's a mistake to them because they have their own lessons to learn. It's not your mistake. You did exactly what we told you to do because we were initiating you. And now, because you have gone through this, we will give you now the answers. Because the time, divine timing, has come to a head. Right? And the fact of the matter is, even while you were in the connection, this is what blew me away. Because like I said, as a human, I'm trying to figure out what, when, how, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? What, you got all these questions, and you're just kind of, for a moment, you're just along for the ride and trying to observe everything you can and learn what you can. But you still have answers and stuff is still not being disclosed to you about the technicalities of the whole situation, and they'll sprinkle in a little bit and tell you a little bit here, and then at the end of all of it, it'll all come to it's like painting a picture. Each brush stroke doesn't make no sense in the beginning, but after you get done, you can see the beauty that is the picture. And that's where I'm at with this particular situation, this particular season of initiation. I'm finally starting to see the picture. And the picture is that even when I was in the connection before all of the witchcraft was laid, I was presented with something. And what she's showing me is that you went into this connection after doing shadow work. You were already assessing a certain balance in your divine masculinity and your divine femininity. You were already tapping into this balance. You were already definitely more balanced than the person that we brought into your life. But that was the point. The one place where you were out of balance is you needed to remember the power source that you are. In order for you to remember that, we brought some of the most strongest witchcraft possible towards you, and we showed you that it still failed. It is going to fail every time. You cannot do unjust work towards certain ones, because certain ones have a genetic encoding. They are royalty in the spirit. They just look human, and not enough people have enough discernment. The human body is a hell of a disguise. Because most of us who are spiritual royalty, we're not walking around with crowns on our head and staffs in our hand, and we're not walking around with a bunch of gold around our neck and sitting on real thrones and stuff. We live, regular lives like everybody else. And so people think we everybody else, but we're not everybody else. And people don't do their due diligence to find out who people are in the spirit before they try to do certain things, because they be full of ego. They be feeling like they spell work works. My ancestors got my back. I could do this. This is what I taught. They showed me how to do this spell. I'ma do it. They just be full of shit. And I don't care where they sit in the witchcraft hierarchy. I don't care if they are priestess, high priestess, or just a little fly by night. I don't know what they are. I don't care. We are not the same. Because what you know is spells. What you know is manipulation of matter. What you know is do this, do that, and this will happen. We are not the same, because what I know is me. I know I am. We're not the same. So where I was out of balance is having a full understanding of my birthright. Where I was out of balance in understanding that I am not bound by the limitations of my disguise. What I was lacking was the knowledge of understanding that I am in a disguise. What I was lacking is the knowledge and the understanding that I chose this disguise. What I was lacking was the remembrance that I have done this before and already got out of this matrix and chose to come back to help others get out. That's what I had forgotten. I had forgotten who I was as a power source, which means I was not being cognizant of the way people will then therefore respond to my presence, respond to the sound of my voice, respond to my likeness. They're going to respond a certain way because of who you are. You are in disguise. But the spirit and the power of you can be felt, and it's a very real thing. And if you are not aware of that, then you will fall victim to these jealous, envious, karmic-y, you will continue to be tossed to and fro in this lifetime by people coming in your life, leaving out your life, and it'll always be trauma here, trauma there, drama here, drama there. It'll always be something. But how you gain the victory over that is being more self-conscious. Know thyself. Know thyself is the only true religion there is. After initiation, you will understand that. So she said to me, you were presented with something while you were in the connection. Before they scurried off and did what they did, they presented you with something. And when you turned it down, that is when their ego was bruised. Because you were the first to turn it down. Not only that, but they had already laid certain types of spell work, certain types of magic that they thought you were fully under. They thought that what they had did on the onset of the connection was already fully kicked in when they offered you a thing. They offered you an opportunity. They offered you a certain experience. But because you are already balanced, you turned it down. You politely turned it down, and you turned it down in a way that didn't remove yourself or them from the connection. It kept the connection pure. It kept the connection between you and the individual pure while they were trying to taint it So when you did that, this is way before the destiny swapping witchcraft and the unaliving, the snatching up in the spirit and all that. This is way before all of this. This is kind of right in the middle of the connection and, the whole thing. But when you did that, that was actually the moment that they realized that your strength was too strong for their strategy. Because they used lust as a weapon for a much greater purpose. They use lust as a weapon to fulfill a much greater greed that they had. And that may have worked on some before you. But when it didn't work on you, after they thought that the groundwork was laid and that it would work, they realized at that moment that your strength, that you were balanced. They realized when you turned it down and left the connection between you and them pure, meaning it's not like I could have just said hell no and ran and kept going, and got on up out of that motherfucker. But you kept the connection pure. There was no judgment. You didn't move in judgment. You didn't condemn them. You didn't offend them. You didn't do any of that. You just simply said, as for me, this is what I can say I'm willing to do, and da 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 da. I'm not ready to bite off that though. See, that the ability to do that was more impactful than I have been aware of for the last 8 months, a year and 8 months. I'm sitting here trying to figure out when did it, why did it. I'm having my emotional, because I really, really loved unconditionally. They taught me that through this too, how to love unconditionally and how to be careful whom you love unconditionally. Because unconditional love, we harp on it like we got to love unconditionally. You got to love without condition. Do you understand the power? You got to be wise when it comes to loving unconditionally. You got to be smart about that. I'm telling you. Because you will fall up under somebody else's goddamn power and under their control, and your mind will convince you that this is where you're supposed to be. You have to be very careful with unconditional love. It's a very powerful thing. The unconditional love that you should have should be for self first. It should be for self, if not for self only. Everybody else should be on condition. Make no mistake about it. Everybody else should be on condition. Right? So the mother was like, this morning, that was the moment when they realized that they weren't as effective as they thought they were with the coming and the going, the chasing and the running and you chase and they run, you call, they don't answer, you text and they don't answer. The weeks of they were laying groundwork. There was a strategy being worked. At the same time, the connection was actually really real. So that baffled them too. There was a moment where they could have made the choice to not continue to perpetrate their strategy to deal with me purely in the connection. They could have, but they didn't. And their ego caused them to then scurry off and do something even more damaging. How that turned out for them is not my business. What happened with me on my end is that I have been self-initiated. Self-initiated into what? Self-initiated into the mysteries, the masteries, the philosopher's stone, my nigga. I have been given the keys. Why? Because I did the work and I trusted the ancestors. I trusted them. And I'm not talking, I trusted my grandmama and my aunties and all of my cousins that have transitioned. I've trusted them too, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones folks like to call the devil and demons and got all this, evil mindset towards, and you don't even know that they're here to assist you. Angels and demons and all these, again, titles that I don't get into. I judge a thing by its energy, not by what you say it is. And because I do that, I have a certain respect that I have earned with the light and the dark. I respect them and they respect me. And we work together to get this shit done. Because the purpose of existing here is to earn deification. So the ones that we look to, that we honor, that we give our libations to, the higher powers, if you want to call it. They're here to assist you in doing that. In order to successfully do that, you need the light and the darkness. You need the red and the blue pill. See what the entities want you to do. Notice I said the entities. They want you to feel that you have to pick one. You pick the blue pill, the red pill. Which one you gonna pick? Which one you gonna pick? Light or the darkness? Which one you gonna pick? If you pick the darkness, then you can throw it in the box with all the other demons and evil beings and monsters and creatures and darkness and degradation. If you pick that one, people hate dark feminines and stuff. They can't stand a dark feminine. You don't know how much a dark feminine can teach you. You just don't like her method of doing it. You don't like her method because her method crushes your ego. And this is why to this day, this individual that I had this connection with, I have no hatred towards. I still love them deeply. Because I don't know. I haven't spoken to them. I don't know what they're aware of concerning themselves. I know the impact that their actions had on my life. And it's hard to separate the lesson from the teacher. Oh, my God. It's hard to separate the lesson from the teacher. Sometimes people are used, and they're used unconsciously. This is what I mean when I say I don't know what she is conscious of. I don't know, and it's not my business. Unless she decides to come share it with me. Like, this is what I understood from the beginning, and this is what I've learned since. I don't know. But it's hard to separate the lesson from the teacher. But people are so scared of dark energies. And I think this is why I survived it, because I'm not. I'm not afraid. How can I be afraid of myself? I'm made of both light and darkness. And these are the things that I had to learn. In order for me to learn it, I had to bump into my darkness. I had to crash right into it. Because coming off that Jesus Christ juice, everybody want to be liked and just love everybody, unconditional love. Slap one cheek, slap the other one. Pray for your enemies. And that has its power. But to only understand that is still imbalanced. You need both sides. You need the red and the blue pill. And that's how you get to the purple. And the purple is where royalty sits. People sitting there, y'all hyped up on the red pill. Oh, you on the blue pill. Oh, I know you. Yeah, you keep doing that discretionary shit if you want to, and you will be politely recycled back down into this motherfucker. You will be politely recycled back down in, especially if you have the genetic coding necessary to attain the purple. If you have the coding that is required to access that frequency of purple. See, that purple represents a blood line. I'll go into that deeper as I learn more. But I want to encourage someone who is also self-initiating. See, I'm called to the self-initiates. I'm not called to the people who have babalaos and I don't know what they got all kind of names for chiefs and priestesses and stuff, and some of these, even the Afrocentric religious systems. I'm not here for you Christian prophets and preachers and evangelists, and if you can get something from me, then please by all means do so. But I know who my intention to speak to is based on my life. I know who my tribe is based on my life, and it's those who are self-initiating, trying to make their way through understanding. There's some things I share, even with you now, that you might not quite understand, because as a self-initiate, it's just that. It's just that. It's a self-initiation, which means the actual awareness of what I'm saying may be down the road for you. But I'm sharing with you so you will know to keep going. Every brushstroke that you see Spirit painting on the canvas of your life seems scattered right now. You can't quite tell what is she showing me. Just keep going. The sheer fact that you are a self-initiated spiritual being is a denotion that you are privy to something that others may not be. And that something is the right to know. You can't know something through someone else's consciousness. Listen to me. You can't know something through someone else's consciousness. You can be informed. You can establish beliefs. But you can't know it until you know it. And to know it is gained by experiencing it. So though I speak to you now, my only hope is that what I'm sharing with you will give you the push to keep going. It will make sense. There is much deeper things to understand. The level of mysteries that have been uncovered to me in the last 3 days alone is hard for me to even speak on. So I won't. But as I gain greater understanding, I will share. But even when I share, you're still going to have to know, which means stay on the course of your self-initiation. Self-initiation is how deities are born. Peace, family.